All right, chat, here we go. We have a scrim between G2 Esports and Optic that we're going to be watching here today. This is in preparation for a tournament coming up that you guys might remember from last year called Gamers 8. And instead of it being a normal 3v3 tournament where every single game is played in 3v3 like basically every other Rocket League tournament in existence pretty much, it is going to be played with all the different game modes. Specifically, the format that the actual best of sevens will be played in is a best of three will be, a 3v3 will be played. Then the losing team gets to pick whether they want to play 2v2 or 1v1, which will be followed up by another 3v3, and then the opposite. So if they pick 2v2, then they'll play 1v1. If they pick 1v1, they'll play 2v2, etc. And if the match hasn't been won yet, no one's won 4 games, then you keep going back to 3v3 and then back to the loser's choice. So you just every other game is 3v3 is what they ended up doing it with Gamers 8. And so that's what it would be today, but this is more of a scrim between these two. G2 and Optic had a scrim scheduled already. Decided to make it a bit more like Gamers 8 so they could practice because they have a qualifier coming up this Monday, I believe. So it's going to be 4 3v3s, then 2 2v2s, and then a 1v1. So that's what we're watching here today between G2 and Optic, and we'll go ahead and keep score as it goes on. We're watching threes. There better be a double rule 1. Listen, threes are fun too. Believe it or not, threes are fun too. It's just threes are usually handled by RLCS. If you want to see high level 3v3, RLCS has that covered. They've cornered the 3v3 market. That's why you'll see us mostly doing 1v1 because it's probably my favorite game mode, even probably ahead of 3v3. But 3v3 is still fun. So is 2v2, and we'll see them all here today. And we'll get a nice preview of what G2 and Optic plan to use when it comes time. Right now, Optic has been playing well in 3v3 recently. I feel like they obviously didn't have the best splits that they would have wanted in the previous split, I guess. But towards the end, they had a really great finish. I think they got top 4 to finish the split, which is the kind of performances that I think they expect themselves to have. And then since then, in other off-season tournaments and whatnot, pretty sure Optic has had great results there as well. At least they've had the kind of wins that you would hope for this Optic team to have if you're an Optic fan. And so I'm sure they're looking to walk away with the win against G2. Now, who do we think are going to be playing these teams 2v2s? Now, if you remember, I believe that G2 probably used all 3 different combinations that you can use. Atomic's going to dunk to tie the game. But who do you guys think, chat? I have a feeling that they'll probably use Atomic plus 1 teammate. So maybe they didn't use Chicago JNaps around the time of the previous Gamers 8. You think Atomic Chicago. Reddles said Magic and AJ are going to play the 2s. Reddles, so back around the previous Gamers 8, Space Station was still Reddles, Arsenal, Daniel. And I remember that team threw out Daniel Arsenal because I think that was the duo that they expected to do the best. But ultimately, they leaned back on Daniel Reddles. Reddles played a great 2v2 game. I know that in general, 2v2 includes a lot of bumping. The bump game is certainly something that Reddles is very good at, but AJ and Magic Bear, apparently, according to chat, we might have some intel because Reddles has been streaming a lot, so it doesn't surprise me that he's said what their game plan might be. So chat seems to think we'll see Chicago Atomic versus Reddles and Magic Bear. And, oh, sorry, not Reddles, AJ and Magic Bear. And then that was a huge shot, by the way. That was a nasty shot from Atomic. So much pop from that reset. But I'm guessing we'll see either Chicago or Atomic in the 1v1s. Chicago's been playing a bit of 1v1s recently, but I know Atomic's played it in the past, and so I just don't think he played any of it in previous Gamers 8, or at least he dodged the 1v1 against G1 Atomic. So we'll see if he looks to play the 1v1 again today, or if it'll be Chicago, who I know has played at least a decent bit of 1v1. Atomic did ones in last Gamers 8. Gotta be Atomic. But he specifically dodged the Atomic versus Atomic matchup. I remember that. and everyone had to started calling him Beatomic. Remember? I assume that had to have been because Atomic went out to play the 1v1. Atomic with a K went out to play the 1v1, and Atomic with a C did not, meaning one of the other G2 members must have played it. That's crazy. It's crazy that he picked just the Atomic matchup. Oh, that was a great pass. What a play. You gotta enjoy 3v3. Raw Greg's watching it too. I appreciate that. This drop down from AJ is nasty to Reddles. I don't want to hold these guys up too much in a scrim setting, but that one was certainly worth a rewatch. AJ gets to play in Gen G decals only in scrims. Not allowed to use an opposing team's decal once it becomes RLCS time. Just 50 game like crazy. AJ 50'd a couple times. Reddle's gonna get a couple 50s in. Mist played ones for... Oh, that's right. Mist just subbed in for a G2. JNaps didn't do that tournament, right? I'm just remembering this now, that because JNaps couldn't do the tournament and maybe Mist couldn't do it with Envy, I guess, is probably who he was with at the time. They just had Mist play for them, right? Can they use opposing decals in Gamers 8? I'm not sure. I mean, they just have to ask the Gamers 8 team. If I'm an official tournament organizer, I'm probably asking teams to not use different decals just because that's confusing. You know, not everybody is somebody who knows all the rosters nasty. G2 going to win this first 3v3. We'll probably extend the series to be a bit longer. We'll just set it at 7 for now. And see if we need to add more if one team is just dominating. 1v1 happening now? No, I think what they're going to do is what they did in scrims last time around Gamers 8, which is they're just going to run all the 3v3s first, so that whoever is not going to play their 2v2 or the 1v1 can just bail afterwards, so it's not a bunch of waiting around. And looks like they're going to do 4-2-1. No, I don't want to leave. Looks like nobody left. Yeah, everyone's still here. Any other teams playing? Yeah, if you guys... Can somebody find the Gamers 8? Looks like somebody did exclamation point bracket, which was something that probably should link to the Gamers 8 format. If anybody wants to try and pull that up, I would appreciate it. Drop it in chat. We maybe even switch the exclamation point bracket command to it. Yeah, there's True Scub. He's got it. You can see the qualifiers. You'll see who's playing. The tab marked finals is the one that's actually happening in Saudi Arabia, and then there's also like main events, and that main event is actually just an online event. So editcom brackets. I'll link it to Gamers 8 now. Exclamation point bracket will take you there. You can see who's playing. I know Complexity, G2, Optic, Version 1, SSG. These are all teams who are still playing in the main event. Some players, the main event. Some players got invited to the final, or teams got invited to the final. You can guess from North America that there's probably FaZe, Gen G, considering they're not in this qualifier. I don't know how many they invited, whether it's 2 or 3. But also they could just not be participating, FaZe and Gen G, that is. But I do think some people got direct invites. Furia. Yeah, Furia won last time. I would assume that they're just going to get invited back no matter what. Because it would be crazy not to have the previous champions back. Wasn't that Gamers 8 format? Yeah, we are doing a Gamers 8 scrim, really. We're watching a Gamers 8 scrim. Furia and Rule 1 are already in the finals. Oh, is that right? Furia is actually already listed there. I know Falcons and Rule 1 are, because Falcons and Rule 1 qualified through Saudi E-League, which was another tournament that was used to qualify for Gamers 8, and they got first and second in that. Shout out Rule 1 getting first. And I think there might be other ways for the Saudi teams to qualify. Optic having to make an insane goal line stand right now. Last second save after last second save. The bars at the top, by the way, we don't do a ton of 3v3 on the stream, but the boost bars at the top are total team boost. So you get a general idea of how much boost the team has as a whole. Like Optic right now has absolutely none, and they're in defense, so they could be in big trouble. They somehow have not been in big trouble. It's been impressive that they've been able to escape every time. AJ trying to launch a flick top right. All right, Atomic broke through with some air dribbles in the previous game. G2 is now completely started out. It means Naps has not much left, but just enough to make the save. Oh, what a pinch. Naps try to slot it. Barely missing top right. Previous game ended 4-3. But the coaches turned up the defense here in game number 2. Crossbar heroes. A little bit. Ooh. Tight angle might have been available for AJ. It seems like a lot of boosts for not a lot of results as AJ floats back to the ball. Catch bear, reset catch, bump. Atomic has to be careful. They're in bad shape right now. Wow. What a save from Chicago. Why is this match happening? This was actually a regularly scheduled scrim, but it has converted to a Gamers 8 scrim. I was looking to run show matches specifically, but I think the reality is that this is just probably how it's going to work out. The next one that we run might be a show match, assuming it's a new scrim, but the two teams that I talked to both these teams, and they decided to repurpose an otherwise regular scrim into a Gamers 8 one, since I'm not sure these guys or these teams have really practiced a ton in preparation for Gamers 8, like hard calming 2s and you know, best of ones are also very interesting. I don't know if it's going to be the same kind of mentality from these guys in scrims, but best of ones in 1v1, I think a lot of the 1v1 fans come in expecting the ones players to just dominate. You know, like in this case, Optic with AJ, you'd think, oh, there's 0% chance that AJ loses to anybody on G2. You know, no one else would ever win. And to be fair, I would not bet on anybody else in a show match. Nice slot by AJ as I talk about him. But in a best of one situation, I saw tons of, you know, favored players lose best of ones where they wouldn't have won longer series. So there's something about coming out quick. A lot of the ones players, what they do best is they read the opponents really well and adjust to them throughout a series. You can't do that in a best of one. You can only do that in a single game, so you have to be quick with your adjustments. That also had to do with it being on LAN. Yeah, but even in the qualifiers are online, and I feel like I remember thinking, you know, best of ones have been tough. In fact, I remember Daniel, it wasn't a Gamers 8 qualifier, but it was a crew battle, certainly inspired by it, because they were doing like a Nissan sponsored event, if you guys remember. And Rapid beat Daniel, and Rapid's a good 1v1. That's actually not the best example, because Rapid is a pretty good 1v1er, and he is in the 1v1 scene for a while. But still, you know, I think everyone would have bet on Daniel in a series against Rapid, and yet Rapid won. And I think there's similar cases of that happening, maybe just less notable ones. Wait, how is this a crew battle if it's just 3v3? Yeah, so it will be a crew battle. The way they run scrims is, for Gamers 8, is first 3v3s, 4 of them, then 2v2s, and then finish off with a 1v1. High-level ones players have trouble with low-level players because they're less predictable. Yeah, I think when you drop a 1v1 player into a match with somebody who never plays it, it can be very off-putting, and it can lead to single games wins for the player who doesn't play it. You know, a lot of, wait, what? Why did he go for that? Or, you know, that makes no sense. What is he doing there? And it's actually working because it's unexpected. But those players, as soon as they realize, oh, he's going to do that, you know, ridiculous challenge that he should never do. I see it now. Now I'll just prep for it and destroy him and end up winning by a ton, because that was actually a big mistake. But the first time I saw it, it surprised me so much that it was a goal. You know, I feel like there's definitely that element. I think that Rule 1 is going to do really well. You know, I think Rule 1 was in their infancy when they played last time around, which was F16. It was Rawas, Killiers, and Basil. But now this time they're going to have a 4-man roster as well. I don't know if AMS is maybe a really dominant 2v2 player, but they're going to have Rawas, Killiers upgraded alongside Mawson. So I think Rule 1 is going to look really good in that tournament. So maybe we can get some Rule 1. I'm going to look for EU/Middle East ones as well. I think their qualifiers a bit later. It's a great infield passing play. Off the backboard, really, not infield, but... He's just okay. He loses to not top 100 players or so. Who are we talking about? Magic? Oh, Magic Bear is good. Actually, honestly, all three of the Optic players have, you know, at least a little bit of 1v1 history. Rettles certainly played one show matches. AJ obviously plays a ton. But Magic Bear back in the day was actually, you know, right alongside AJ as one of the best in NA. It was right around the time that Kinsey was also very good. So it's a good amount of time ago. But around the Salt Mine era, Magic Bear was looking solid. But I think he just kind of gave up on the mode for the most part. So, while I'm sure he still retains a good amount of it, it's hard to say that he's once focused like he once was. Rule 1 and Furia are the best teams. V1, certainly a very nice team with the Daniel Beast Mode 2v2 and the Daniel 1v1s. Please get V1. I'm talking to V1. We might get a V1 match. You never know. It's hard to schedule this kind of stuff. It's not like 1v1s where you just need 2 players. You know, we're talking about 6 players. And so it's a little bit less easy. Why is everyone using the Fennec now? If you haven't been around in a while, you can ask Chaussette why everyone's using the Fennec. Vitality will be insane. Yeah, having Zen just at all is really good. Zen and his 2v2 teammates, though, in Johnny's recent matches, I don't think they, you know, were unbeatable by any means. Do you think the Chaussette Fennec effect is too far away from right now's current Fennec meta? I think that it all started because of Chaussette. Without a performance from a top player like that in the car, I wouldn't be surprised if it never really caught on. Cars aren't added to the meta. I mean, Chaussette, it was like a... He played the best. He was an MVP of a tournament by a long shot, and he played it in the Fennec, and that kind of performance is what you probably need to make a car actually used. Because the Honda, there's like a couple of cars that were used, like the Civic, or maybe not the Civic, but what am I thinking of? Maybe the Mustang? There was a couple different cars that were kind of used, but never really caught on. But I bet you if they had been used by an MVP of a tournament who dominated, they might have caught on even more and been used a bit more regularly. The Mustang by Joyo. Yeah, look, see, the Mustang already got a little bit used because of that reason. My day's been good. We've had a good match here. A couple good streams today. Magic Bear trying to pop off with a full field dribble. I'm excited, of course, to see the 2v2s. I think these guys understand that they need to practice everything. You know, they need to scrim more than just 2v2 and 1v1, not only for Gamers 8, but for RLCS. But I think if I had to guess, everybody here is excited to see what these teams are going to do in 2v2 and 1v1. Your voice sounds 11 out of 10 today. Okay, that's good. Chicago has been grinding ones on stream. Yeah, he's been grinding ones off stream too. I've noticed he's kind of high on the leaderboards. That's why I say that Chicago might play their ones. I know you guys said Atomic, but I have no indication that Atomic has played 1v1 recently. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with desire. Like whether you enjoy it or not, I think it's a bigger part of it than people realize. Sure, Atomic, maybe, if he enjoyed it, would be the better ones player. But if you can't get up to practice it, if you never put in any work, and if it doesn't excite you to actually play the mode, then it might not make sense. You might end up seeing Chicago. AJ does not enjoy ones. He says that, but he does. Trust me. You don't play 360 games in this season or whatever he's played right now if you don't enjoy it. Optic! Oh, Reynolds, what a save. Wait, that was actually a nasty save. Optic absolutely should have lost by now. Reynolds just has Chicago, but can't quite get around him. Look at the passing. Magic, does he have the boost? No, he doesn't. Rattles the green wall all by himself. Atomic 1v1 Chicago for the right to 1v1. Wait, did they? Is that actually something that you know happened, or are you just speculating? Or wouldn't expect them to 1v1 each other for the spot. So they both wanted to do it? Interesting. In G2's major vlog, they 1v1. Oh. And did they say the winner of this gets to play ones at Gamers 8? Yeah, nobody's saying who won. Wait, then who won? Chat, who's going to do it? Did Atomic win? Atomic won. Oh, all right, well, maybe we will see Atomic then. It's a secret. Chat, I'm starting to think you guys this didn't actually happen and you're making it up. Rizzo won. Wow, crazy. One of my favorite 1v1 videos of all time was Rizzo playing his placements. You guys ever, you remember back in the day when the season would reset, you'd only have to play like 3 games and you'd be back? And Rizzo played his placements and it was like a minute long, and it was him queuing into a game. As soon as he got in, he would instantly forfeit it and go, "Ah, oh, bummer. I lost." He did that 3 times. It's a nasty play. Let Atomic go. I'm starting to see where Bates gets it, okay? All right, I see it, Bates. I see what you're saying now. Can a team sub play the ones match? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Because a lot of the teams didn't have like subs come, or didn't have singular ones players come to the tournament. Or you know what it was? I think Gamers 8 was willing to cover like 3 players, but they weren't going to pay for a 4th player to go. So I think a lot of teams just said, okay, we're running it with our 3 players. Subs weren't invited. Yeah, Chronic played the 2s for them as well. He actually played a good amount for them. The final 3v3. G2 able to get, I think, a couple different close wins. A couple different overtime wins to have the 2-1 lead, the 3v3 scrim so far. What's the name of Rizzo's video? It's a really old video. It's really, really old. It felt like it might have been like a Twitter video or something, because it was short enough that it doesn't seem like it'd be a legit YouTube video. But you could maybe ask him. It was a long time ago. I mean, he was definitely still playing as a pro, I'm pretty sure. Was it a full-on YouTube video? Because that'd be pretty funny to commit to just making like a minute-long YouTube video that's just you forfeiting your ones placements. That's a pretty good joke. If they tie 2-2, are they going to hash it out? No, they're not going to hash out the 3v3s. They're just scrimming, so you know they can end tied in the scrim. Ashley is still playing, I think. What do you think of the roster change in BDS? Why did Rise leave? Has Rise talked on that yet, chat? Is this a Scrim or Gamers 8 format? It's both. It's a Scrim of Gamers 8 format, Cosmic. You'll see in a second here. We're going to get to the exciting, you know, what word do I want to say? Never before seen 2v2s and 1v1s between these teams. Right now, it's just been the 3v3. Which is honestly, you know, half of Gamers 8. I remember when that format first came out, a lot of people were bummed because the original format for crew battles that people used was the first. You'd play maybe a 3v3, a 2v2, and a 1v1, and then from then on out, everything was player choice or player team choice. So you could end up never playing a 3v3 again. Teams could just choose 2s and 1s, and you'd only play a single 3v3. But ultimately, they decided, probably for a lot of various reasons, to make every other game 3v3. And I would think that maybe the biggest is to keep people involved, but also these are pro athletes. They can sit and watch the sidelines for the sake of a tournament. So I don't know. They just thought maybe including more 3s was the way to go. They should do fusion format, 3 separate brackets. Yeah, that would be an interesting one too. I would like to see I'd love to see a 1v1 tournament like that, you know, on a LAN like Gamers 8 would be insane. It'd be awesome, but I also don't mind just a free crew battle format, you know, that doesn't just force 3v3 every other game. Because I was pretty bummed when that came out. I'm trying to think if there was ever a reason why I came around and decided it was better, but I can't remember. It prevents one team from running it up in ones. Yeah, it does stop you from just going, you know, Zen. We'll take Zen in the 1v1 every single time. We'll just take Rawas in a 1v1 every single time. But I can't stress enough how that the games don't necessarily go that way. It feels like, oh, you have Rawas. Anybody who's not a ones player will no chance beat Rawas. And yet, in the past, they did lose sometimes. Some of the best ones players did lose the best of ones. And I would never predict that they would lose a series, but oh, look at the pre-jump. Chicago back down to Atomic. Slow play. Could have been nasty if it weren't for AJ. Look at Atomic. Look at him go. Look at the man go. The passing's been absurd. Now Chicago left all alone. Considering how often I see cringes in chat, in AJ's chat for air dribble bumps, I feel like he does do them quite a bit. You think it needs some structure? Fusion, for example. You just realized 5 of the 6 of them are in Phoenix? Yeah, Octane is definitely going out of style. We saw Nupo today switch to Octane, though, and played it for the majority of the series, but AJ hates air dribble bumps like he hates playing ones. Exactly. That's a good point. All right, G2 winning the 3v3 portion, 3-1. I don't know who they're going to toss in for 2v2. We'll probably have to extend this to a best of 9. That actually does exist on my overlay. And I'll be honest, when the person who made it for me gave me the option, I was like, that'll never happen. But here we are in a position where it makes sense to include more victory slots. Does anyone know if Noob was supposed to join Rule 1? Nobody knows. What is this for? This is for Gamers 8. We're about to see the 2v2s, which I'm excited to see. Can you say my name? Cringe question. Yeah, man, it is a bit cringe. Let me play. $2v2 time between G2 and Optic. It's going to be Chicago and Atomic, right? Between Magic Bear and AJ. I think that's what we expected. And right away, G2 scoring first. I think people are going to be looking to Atomic to dominate in this lobby. Does Atomic play a ton of 2s, chat? Do you guys know? I'll be honest, I don't see Atomic as a 2v2 player. Not like I see some of the other top players in RLCS who very much so grind 2v2. I would expect him to play it well. I originally found out about Chicago. I've said this a million times on stream, so people who've been here a lot probably already know. But I first found out about Chicago just by watching him in pro streams. He was in everybody's lobby in ranked 2v2. AJ faking out Atomic and then doing so basically again with Chicago. And I remember thinking, I know nobody likes ranked and thinks it's important, but man, this guy Chicago just keeps playing so well in everyone's ranked lobbies. Is he really not going to be pro? And then turns out not only did he become pro, but he was insane. And he like carried his team arguably to LAN. Was his first season the Evil Geniuses season? Before switching over to G2, and then has been there ever since. Magic Bear! Filthy shot, top right. Optic looking solid in the 1v1, or sorry, in the 2v2, which is often played like a 1v1 with a backup. He played RLCS before. Oh, is that right? Wait, I'm not talking about when Chicago played on G2. I'm actually talking about when he played on Evil Geniuses. I remember he was a big part of that team at LAN. AJ double resets. Magic Bear doesn't really have a chance to dive in, as he is definitely last back after AJ uses that much boost for an aerial play. Real ones know Chicago on Dig. That's true. Chicago and Turtle, right? Wasn't Turtle on that team? AJ trying to chase Chicago down. Can't connect. AJ got the boost steal. Thomas going to be forced back, and Chicago respawning. So AJ actually has a chance to play a bit more, say, 1v1. I'm going to try and see if I can control the camera a bit more. Because I really don't like when dribbles happen and they're not using ball cam. But I think it's going to be too hard to miss certain plays. So I think that's why director's best. Chicago, though, going ISO. Leaning back for the reset. Getting past both defenders. Magic Bear is using 20XX, right? AJ, as he passed the last line, is just going to try and force Chicago off the ball in an attempt to score it. You've just realized it's the best of 9. Not quite, just a scrim, but we're just keeping track of the wins. AJ reset double, but he's nowhere near the ball. Took the atomic the other way. Nobody had a real serious scoring chance. It's been a trade-off of air dribbles. Atomic is double taken away. AJ quick to get right back in the air. Magic Bear and AJ have been defensively air dribbling. First time they've been back on offense for a bit. Magic Bear just going to dunk right back in front of the net. Any 1v1 going on today? Yeah, I think they plan on playing at least one 1v1. AJ bumped off the ball. I don't think Chicago expects to score with this. More just a defensive touch. Not to have to play defense on that high lob. AJ able to dodge the bump chase. Optic back on offense. Up 1 with 30 seconds. They've been able to hold off right now. AJ stuck in the fence all alone, and he decides to commit. Needed to play a bit safer. Had this lead. AJ, I mean, it was too late. I mean, it's not a bad idea to try and dive on that pass early because at that point he had already pushed too deep into the blue half, but just needed to hold on. And they're going to be gifted a goal, man. G2 has gifted a few goals in this 2v2. I don't know if they've forgotten they don't have that help. Chicago went for the pinch and just dropped it right over. No J-Naps around to clean up the net this time. Atomic passing play. Oh my goodness. Chicago had a really tight angle shot to try and get. Not able to connect on it. AJ tapping one more in for the win. First two's game going over to Optic. I don't know if we're going to see different 2v2 setups because I don't know if Chicago, or sorry, if JNaps is still in here. Yeah, JNaps is still in the lobby. So is Reddles. I don't know if we'll see different combinations of 2v2, if they're going to try out other ones or just going to stick with this one. My prediction for who plays the ones game, I don't know if you're asking me that, would be, I guess it's, according to what chat's telling me, Atomic and AJ. And then I would expect the AJ to win. JNaps and Reddles. Good. Oh, you meant channel points. Got you. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. Sathy versus Raw Greg. Yeah. Both teams sticking with the same two that they ran with last time. AJ and Magic Bear, who won. Certainly no reason to expect them to change. But G2 not subbing in JNaps. Look at the passing play. This is just being a team player from Chicago. He definitely could have slotted this final touch, but he drops it to Atomic so that he could tap it in. You remember one Sathu? Atomic, the tap-in specialist? Yeah. Somebody get T-Bates on the line. Let him know that the tap-in specialist is going to town. We've actually mostly seen crazy assists from Atomic. AJ probably going to take a trip to the corner boost and go for a full field dribble. A little pass to himself off the ceiling, but he lost control of it. So he's not able to make an actual move near the nets. How long till quals? The quals for Gamers 8 that these guys are playing in are Monday and Tuesday. What a save from Magic Bear. Holy cow. Yeah, absolutely should have been scored on there. AJ chain dashing around the corner. Probably looking for a demo, but nobody letting themselves get hit by him. AJ's shot saved. Atomic trying to tap down to Chicago. I feel like we've seen a bit more team play between the G2 members. On offense, they are always looking to use each other, whereas a good example right here is Optic just deciding to have Magic Bear go bump and let AJ try and take an air dribble. Here they're going to pass infield to each other, though, to tie the game. And just to be clear, just because that's not what we've seen doesn't mean that it's better. You know, that either one is better. I mean, Optic did win the first game. 2v2 team play is always a big risk. In order to make any sort of passing play, you are committing the entire team to doing so. It's not like 3v3 where you can have somebody back behind to save you if your passing play doesn't go your way. I bet you the quals next week are getting streamed. They're calling it the main event, right? I'm pretty sure. Or is it qualifiers still? No, I bet you it's streamed either way. Optic not able to follow this one up. Atomic getting chased down by AJ. Can AJ get the save? Would have been unbelievable if he found a way. But he does not. So G2 up 2-1. G2 taking 3 out of 4 on the 3v3s. Looking to go even on the 2v2s if they can win this one. The other guys are sitting in the lobby right now watching the twos. In practice, if they were to qualify for Gamers 8, they do just sit there, or at least how they did last time. You know, you just sit and hype up your teammate. A lot of them free play in the meantime while they wait for whether or not, you know, they're going to be back in. You'll also see, I think a lot of ones fans expect a ton of ones to be played, but there will be teams with players like TRK, who at the time of the previous Gamers 8 was, I believe, the agreed upon #1. People at TRK is best in the world, and yet still his team picked 2v2 when they could, because a lot of players are not interested in either putting their entire team's hopes on their back, or, you know, they aren't as confident in 1v1. I think team play is just much more desired from even the best ones players, because you just want to have your team involved. I kind of understand it. You have to be really, really confident in your ones game to say, all right, team, put all your hopes on my back. That's what Furia did. Listen, I think it's the right choice, just to be clear. If you have TRK, if you have Yan, you should absolutely run ones every time you have the choice. The reality is there's probably no better percent chance to win than that. All I'm saying is teams will not pick ones as much as you think they would. Yeah, you remember watching it live and expecting a ones game. Yeah, you'll think that the best players teams, or the best ones players, you know, will always have their teams picking ones, but they just won't. And I think that has to do with the players themselves not necessarily wanting to put it all on their own shoulders, or, you know, really take it off of your team's shoulders. At least I'm just speculating. But I could see how you could feel bad being like, you guys don't even get to help the team win. Like, you can't even affect the game. You know, I want this to be a team win. I could see that kind of mentality. But there's also the I'm him mentality, and obviously Yan had it last time, and Furia won, so. Who's the best Rocket League team right now? Carmine Corps. Looking like G2 winning the 2v2. One of the 2v2s as well. 1-1 in the 2v2s. It's actually going a bit quicker than I feel like the scrims normally do. The 4-2-1 didn't usually run the full hour. I mean, unless it's going to be 13 minutes of 1v1. Reddles J-Naps. Sathu? Jay can't hold me? I would love to see Reddles J-Naps. Sathu versus Greg. Oh man, I used to beat you a lot. Your hands don't move like they used to. Oh, are they about to have a mid-off? Oh man. That's good. Atomic and AJ. The duo we speculated would be playing. Atomic is the kind of guy that I think we as Ones fans wish we could see on the Ones field a lot more often. Because any of the top talents in threes, most of them can convert to ones fairly easily. They put in a little bit of time and I'm sure they'd be top ones players, but not all of them give 1v1 the time of day. And I would say Atomic in general doesn't play a ton of ones. Maybe he's played a bit more show matches than my memory remembers, but certainly not as much as 1v1 fans would like. Now, AJ certainly gives us a lot of 1v1 matches, playing in just about every tournament that Ones has had recently. Can he take down the likes of Atomic, or will a player as talented as him in a best of one be able to get the upset? Because there's no doubt about it that he is definitely the underdog against AJ. Might have been able to have a tap in off the back wall, but he did manage to keep possession. This long shot is past AJ and it's a tie game. You think V1 choose twos or ones? Like I said before, I think teams will choose twos. Especially any team that feels like they have a good 2v2 team, even if they have Daniel, even if they have AJ, even if they have Zen. You know, I think teams just pick twos a lot. That's just what happened last time. AJ just bringing out the massive cheese. He did a super delay. He's given the welcome to ones cheese to Atomic. He's like, yeah, there's no way Atomic's queued ones. He hasn't had somebody just, you know, 2 car lengths delay on him and tap in goals 10 times. So yeah, I'll just bring that out. Oh, AJ's trying to absolutely pop off if he's going for a pogo. Atomic intercepts it for a freebie. G2 trying to take this scrim 5-2 if Atomic can win the 1v1 for them. I was always interested when these players played once with their teams, whether or not they were in comms with their team, whether that was helpful or maybe detrimental to have their team in their ear. AJ gonna miss this shot. Atomic gonna front flip all the way down the field. Nothing special needed. I think some players do listen to their team. I think some mute up when they're unable to focus with their team in their ear. But Atomic up 4-2. I'm sure if they were in the same comms, AJ would be hearing a lot about Atomic with the lead right now. AJ certainly looking for a clip when he went for the pogo earlier, but nothing's gonna light a spark underneath him, I imagine, and going down multiple goals in this match. Atomic had the boost to make a play, but AJ able to flick past him. Decides to back off in this corner. He probably had a chance to challenge him there right away before AJ really got control of the ball. Instead, he turns away, lets AJ get control, and then tries to dive back. Much harder to deal with. Leaning back into the ceiling reset is Atomic. He get himself an opportunity to score here. He tried to fake a take to the side wall to get AJ out of net and then power slide cut it back on target, which I actually kind of like, but AJ didn't fall for it. AJ stayed in net the whole time. AJ dribbled to the ground. Low 50 did not work, and he's going to get countered. Atomic had a lot of boost left over while AJ used everything he had in order to take that air dribble to the ground. Atomic going to carry this one to the corner. AJ preventing him from grabbing boost and now trying to make something happen when Atomic's at 0, and AJ does. Great play from AJ here. Had the mechanics to set this one up off the ceiling. He needed to get there quickly, and he found the fastest way. For some reason, it's weird to see chat talking about AJ without putting all the Ys. Like just putting an A and a J for some reason seems very weird to me. AJ showing Atomic how to get wins and ones. A nice low 50. Atomic wanted the challenge through, but he just backflips right on top of the ball, and AJ skirts around him. Certainly a ones moment indeed. AJ has Atomic backing off, trying to snake a dribble to see if he can maybe fake Atomic at all, but Atomic steals it right at the top of his car. Wall pinch from Atomic as an attempt to set up. Doesn't work. AJ 360ing as he collects the ball. He's in a tie game though with Atomic. Falls from the ceiling, catches and cuts it back on the near post. Such an impressive shot, and there was space to score that. Misses just barely. AJ power sliding. Didn't get that dribble set up before it was too late, and he was already at the back wall. Atomic just trying to beat him with speed. Almost surprised him there. Just barely not able to get the angle. This boost needs to respawn for Atomic, and it does. AJ forced off the ball. Atomic with space in a 1v1 scenario. What does he do? Well, he takes a dribble to the wall and gets demoed. Maybe not as comfortable as AJ is going to be. He's up the side wall now. Reset. That's on the back wall. Atomic's going to be able to just take this for a free goal. Oh no, Atomic couldn't get around it. Demoed now. 30 seconds left to go. This should be a goal from Atomic. AJ doesn't spawn on the right side. He needed to basically spawn right in front of him if he wanted a chance at stopping it. Post is a paid actor. 25 seconds. Wave dash kickoff from AJ. Atomic gets boost and ball. Ball to air dribble, leaning back into the ceiling. Reset. The 50. Can he get around it and score it again? A little camera check to make sure AJ is not going to get back. And AJ is not. Atomic up 7-5 with 13 seconds. Need some kickoff magic if you're AJ. Wave dash kickoff. I don't know if the score is fast enough. I'm surprised he went wave dash. He needed an immediate goal and followed up with another immediate goal. Wave dashes aren't normally what gets you there. Look at Atomic finishing off. Absolutely throwing it down in style. Throws the my bad as he hits a nasty double. 111 kilometers. Oh, he did no look. That's a bit late. It's a bit late, AJ, or a bit late, Atomic. A bit late for the no look. You gotta get it before contact. He did it after. But still, GG's. A nice crew battle scrim between Optic and G2. G2 take it